What's good, everybody? It's your boy Darkstar, and we are back for another one. Pardon me if the sound is kind of off, and I do apologize for moving the time back a little bit. I was at Six Flags, having hanging out with my girl. So yeah, I do apologize about that. And today we're going to be discussing a couple things. We're going to start off with the three subjects we have today. Is we're going to talk about the new Superman suit, the one that for the James Gunn movie. We're gonna dissect that, talk about that a little bit, and then we'll get into just some rumor I heard about the next movie Ryan Coogler was going to be directing. Gonna kind of get my thoughts on that as far as like his next MCU project that I guess there's a rumor has it that Disney wants him to direct this movie. I'll just give my thoughts on it when it happens. And then the last thing we're going to talk about is X-Men 97. Now, I think I initially talked about it a little bit, not too much in my last little stream that I did. And we're going to dissect this last episode that just happened because, like, fuck. I've been keeping up with this show, and I can tell you right now, from start to finish, it's been a really good show with the exception of the fourth episode. That was the only episode I can say that was kind of slow. Other than that, every episode was, for the most part, I enjoyed every episode. But like I said, other people didn't, but it is what it is. Not everybody's gonna like everything. But yeah, with that being said, we'll go ahead and get into it. But before I do, make sure y'all hit the like, make sure y'all subscribe, and hit the bell twice so that way y'all know when I go live. And I think I'm going to start doing it more consistently where I'm going to start doing my streams on Saturdays. The only reason I haven't is just because of my work schedule. I was having to work a lot of Saturdays, so I do apologize. And what I'll probably start doing is when I know I'm going to work on Saturday, I'll probably move my comic book nerd stream to Sundays instead. And yes, I got my special guest Bob and his little brother Ori the dog. Y'all don't want to say nothing? Just you, Bob? Okay. Alrighty. That being said, let's go ahead and get into the Superman suit. Yeah, so James Gunn gave us a little taste gave us like a first look of what the new Superman suit looks like. I'm gonna kind of get my thoughts on it. I'm even gonna show y'all a comparison of, for the CW suit, and then I'm going to show what the James Gunn suit looked like. So y'all kind of have an idea as far as like what I mean by like as far as like as far as the suit. But kind of my initial thoughts with it as far as like how I felt about the suit. Personally, I kind of thought the suit was a little underwhelming, in my opinion. And there's no dig at James Gunn because, dude, I like James Gunn. I'm a huge fan of James Gunn. However, that suit wasn't it. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Like that suit was not it. Sorry, I don't know what the hell I said. But yeah, for me, that suit wasn't it, man. Like I don't know what they were trying to do. It was like they were trying to take the Kingdom Come suit with the New 52 and then wrap it in with the classic. And I don't know, just something about it. It was like they were trying to do too much. And like, what's sad is that the CW suit for Superman and Lois shits on that one. I'm going to show y'all the difference and you see what I'm talking about. Hang on. So this is the CW suit. Okay. This is the one that Tyler Hoechlin wears in the suit. Pretty simple, but at the same time, doesn't look overwhelming, doesn't look underwhelming. It's perfect, right? In my opinion, I think it looks like a good suit. It's simple. And then here's the James Gunn suit. Like, it just felt like they were trying to do too much with that suit, And again, I'm not even trying to knock James Gunn. There's no dig at James Gunn, because I like James Gunn. I love what he did with Guardians of the Galaxy. I liked Suicide Squad. I liked his take on the Suicide Squad. I thought it was good. Okay? It's just, with this suit, I just wasn't feeling it, man. I'm just not feeling the suit. And it's not that it's not that I'm saying like, oh, James Gunn sucks. No, I wanted to love the suit. Like, I really wanted to love this suit. I'm not even joking. I really wanted to love this suit. But I don't know, man. But I'm still going to be on the wait and see because despite the fact the suit Doesn't look all that great. It probably could still be a good movie, but only time will tell. Because remember, that's kind of what happened with the Henry Cavill suit. Some people didn't like it, and then it slowly grew on people. Same thing with the Christian Bale bat suit. Some people didn't like it, and then it grew on them. You know what I'm saying? And I can even say a little bit of criticism with the Robert Pattinson suit. Some people liked it, some people didn't like the Robert Pattinson suit. Me, I thought it was alright. But again, it's one of those things you gotta wait and see. And that's what I'm gonna do when it comes to the James Gunn thing. Oh, thank you. Hold on one sec. Somebody just showed up to the show, and it's Johnny D. Yo, what up, bro? Hey, Johnny, is your sound working? Hey, Johnny, check your audio. Make sure it's working, man. Hold on.
Give me a second. This headphone kind of sucks.
You're good, dude. I mean, I just got a new phone today, so yeah,
Can you
I
hear me
kind of
now?
yeah. Of course, I can hear you, man.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I just got done talking about the Superman suit, the new one for the James Gunn movie. I don't know if you've seen it. Have you seen it yet?
Yeah, I've seen the picture. I mean, I'm not really interested in anything James Gunn is trying to do, so I don't pay a lot of attention. But it's also like, I always go back to the Super Mario Brothers, the new one. Like, I thought that was gonna suck. I was a complete and total hater. When everybody said it was great, I was like, yeah, okay, I guess I'll go check it out. So it's gonna be the same thing. If it gets a lot of positive buzz, I'll go check it out.
Yeah, and
But
that's
I'm
kind of what
still
I
salty over Cavill.
dude. I don't blame you on that. Yeah, and just my issue with that, this, and like I said it before, and I said it again. My issue is that with it being, a movie, right? With it being like, box office movie, you would, especially something like Superman, you would expect the movie suit to be better than the CW suit, right?
Right.
Tell me why the CW suit is better than that. Hold on, I'm gonna put both of the suits on screen, and then you tell me which is better, okay? This is the CW suit, okay? Just take a good look at it, and then in a second, it's gonna swap over. Hey, what up, Derpy? Salute, bro. Salute. And then wait for it. And then that's the James Gunn suit. I mean, like, in your opinion, which one looks better? In your opinion?
I mean, yeah, the other one definitely looks better, the first one, but
Yeah.
it's kind of, I mean, that's part of, I think the problem is like they're trying to redefine Superman too many times in a short period of time, especially if you start getting into the cartoons and then you start getting in, and then if you're into the comic books, because like when, what was it? New 52 came along, or not new, when it went from New 52 over to Rebirth, they like
Yeah.
switched Supermans, and then I think something happened with Superman down the line where he changed
Yeah.
out, and it's like,
Yeah. I can explain what happened with that. So it was after Superman Reborn, because what happened is technically the new 52 Superman had, quote unquote, yeah, he died. And then post crisis Superman took his role. And then some weird shit happened where they resurrected New 52 Superman, and then both of the Supermen and both Loises ended up merging together to become one version of Superman, one version of Lois Lane. And then pretty much with that happened, it retconned the entire DC universe all over again. Just from them fusing it had that much of a change on that universe. And then he was wearing another suit for a little while, and then he went back to the red trunks when Brian Michael Bendis ended up doing the writing. So yeah, that's when he went back to the classic suit. And well, I mean, because this is my thing, Derpy, with that. Like, this is the thing. It's kind of like they're trying to fuse three versions of Superman into one suit, and like and it's kind of how James Gunn sold it. He was trying to bring Superman back to his roots. So it's like, and even he was asking people which do you want to do, the trunks or no trunks. And everybody was thinking, if you're gonna do it the trunks, we figured go back with the classic look. You know what I mean? And that's what people were looking forward to. And then it's like you got a combination of the New 52 with the classic, and then the Kingdom Come. I mean, and it's like it's a weird mashup. You know what I mean? It's a really, really weird mashup. You know?
Right, and it's like I said, they're trying so hard to keep redoing Superman and making him fresh that it's like the more involved you are in that kind of stuff, and the more you like it, the more you kind of put off by it because it's like we just did this.
Yeah.
You got the new Superman cartoon that I think has another season coming, and you've got the CW show which has a final season coming, I think.
Yep.
Which means I'm finally gonna jump on, but you know me, how far behind I get on stuff. Like I'm still on season 2 of Titans.
But it's all good, dude. Like honestly, I'll be honest with you. Season 2 of Titan is pretty much kind of where the show peaks. It slowly starts to go downhill during season 3, and season 4 was kind of meh. I'm just being honest with you. Season 2 is where Titans peak. I'm being honest.
But yeah, so like that show ended how long ago, and I'm just barely getting to it. So
yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. But yeah, Superman Lois gets better every season. That's a show I highly recommend.
and then later tonight, the new My Hero. Well, it's already dropped, but like I'll be watching it later tonight.
Oh, nice. I'll probably check that out.
That's the only cartoon I'm not willing to wait for an English dub. I do the sub, and then I do the dub again when it comes out.
Yeah, dude, I don't blame you, man. I probably do the same thing. And with that being said, yeah, let's move on to the next topic. I don't know if you heard about this, dude. I don't know if you heard about this one. So apparently, and this is just a rumor I heard on Twitter that apparently Marvel Studios were looking to have Ryan Coogler direct the new X-Men for the MCU.
See, and speaking of rumors, like there's also talk of Keke Palmer entering for a secret role or whatever, but it's like, dude, if it turns out to be the one that she's gunning for, like I don't think X-Men is enough to keep me on board. Because she wants to be Rogue, and you and I have discussed this before, is like anytime they make a character from white to black, they always say, well, everybody's like, well, what if we did it to this character? And like, well, it's different because this character's race is important to the character, but this one isn't. And it's like, well, but
it's
Rogue's race, right? Rogue's race is important because like Rogue's race is important to who she is as a character. Like, there's something to be said about people's very strange need to racially diversify the already racially diverse. And it's like the X-Men's white people are also very diverse. You got Russians, you got Canadians, you got Germans in the form of a blue guy, which, man, him wielding those 3 swords, bro.
Hey, don't spoil that. We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into X-Men 97. Trust me, we're gonna touch that. Hold that part off. Hold that until we get there, dude. Don't get into that, dude, because you already know we're gonna geek out on that one. So hold that thought. That's like the main course, man.
And the other thing too is like they're talking about doing it also with Xavier, and I still say Xavier being a rich kid growing up playing things like polo, it's like that's very white people shit. But the guy that they're talking about letting do it is somebody who's paid a lot of respect to the nerd community over the years, and that goes a long way. Giancarlo Esposito respects the shit out of the roles that he has with the boys, and the voice of Lex Luthor.
Let's not forget the
Mandalorian, of course, and he enters all of these roles with the same kind of respect he entered, Breaking Bad with.
Yep.
And And so it's like you're going to get the pass because you've earned it. But there's only so many passes that are going to be given out to a single team, and it's like part of
Mm-hmm.
Rogue's thing is to say like there are Southern white people that aren't fucking evil, and so
Right.
her race is a big part of who that is as a character. And I think they're going to find out the hard way. It's not who you're giving it to; it's who you're taking it from. That's
Yeah.
already a representation character.
Yeah. No, I 100% I agree. I 100% agree with that. You're not telling me nothing wrong. You're not telling me nothing new. Like, I 100% agree with that. I mean, at first, and here's the funny part. I always like telling me, I'm like, if y'all were saying you wanted her to play Storm, yeah, but Rogue, no. And the one justification I hear is because Rogue was originally supposed to be black, and her character was based off of Grace Jones. And I'm kind of like, okay, even if that was so, that's not what happened in the book. So therefore, it's kind of irrelevant
Right.
because
And
I
then
mean,
and
because
then
if
those
that's the case, they would
cartoons
want with that.
like the cartoons that we grew up with, X-Men 92 as it's now called, and all that stuff, like so many people grew up watching that, so many girls grew up watching that alongside their brother that, once again, this is a character people already have a lot of emotional connection to. And it's like I think it's about knowing which characters you can and can't mess with. And it's like this is one of those ones you really shouldn't be messing with. And
Yep, I agree.
it's like, and MCU's been making so many bad, and I know this word gets overused, but woke decisions. And it's like, man, every time you start getting on track, you got to do something to get back off track. And it's like,
Yeah.
what is happening that you did so fantastic for 10 years?
Yeah, and you know what?
And
Go ahead, man, because I'm getting ready to get into a fucking rant right now. But go
no, no,
ahead,
no,
dude.
no, no, no. You do your thing. I want to hear what you got to say.
Okay, all right. Because I freaking said this rant the other day to my girl, and not only did she agree, she actually gave me an applause for it. You ready for this? So a lot of these fucking people that are barely jumping into this MCU bandwagon, that are barely jumping into this shit. Here's my thing. If you just know these characters based off the movies and the cartoons, but you have not once ever cracked open a fucking book and read the source material, respectfully, sit the fuck down because you are just a fucking guest in this nerd community. You are just a fucking guest. You have no say, you have no weight on anything that has to do with any of these fucking characters. So for anybody to come on and be like, "Oh yeah, you should race swap Rogue and shit like that," sit the fuck down. Sit the fuck down. Because look, at the end of the day, with that, what you're basically saying is, fuck the source material, fuck what came before. We're just gonna change this shit because I wanna feel fucking special. Get the fuck off your fucking high horse. Oh, I wanna freaking change it because I want the character somebody that looks like me to freaking relate to. Shut the fuck up. Okay, like this whole thing is with this whole self-importance. It's narcissistic. It's fucking annoying. I've never understood this shit. We never had this shit growing up when we freaking talk about comic book characters. We never had this fucking issue where it's like, oh, well, I don't like this character because the color of skin. Shut the fuck up. Because by that logic, Spider-Man should not even be close to being one of my favorite fucking characters in comic books. By that fucking logic, Batman shouldn't even be one of my favorite fucking characters. If we're gonna use that shit, because apparently we're supposed to see ourselves in these fucking characters. Who came up with this fucking stupid concept, huh? Like, is your self-esteem that fucking low that you have to freaking put yourself into a fucking comic book character? That's not why we read these fucking comic books. We don't read fucking comic books to have a reflection of the real world or anything like that. No, we read fucking comic books to escape the stupid fucking shit. That's the reason, because we want to get lost in a fucking world that is nothing like ours. That's the purpose of it. We grew up with these characters. We love these fucking characters. We respect these characters. These characters are like shaped a lot of our personality. And for people to come in and be like, "Oh, well, we're gonna change this because we need to make the other minority people feel better." Shut the fuck up. Just shut up. Shut up. Because at that point, you're just being a self-righteous prick, and nobody likes a self-righteous prick. So do us a favor, sit the fuck down because you merely adopted the nerd. You merely adopted the nerd culture. You weren't born in that shit. You weren't bred by that shit. Respectfully, sit down, shut the fuck up, have a sink, and drink from your fucking sippy cup. You fucking pansy ass babies. Okay, rant done. I had to
I
get
would
that out.
I will say this, like, because I personally believe like everything we have is built on the backs of the casuals. They
Back.
bring so much to the table, and they're very welcome at the table. But know your role in things. Like I always talk about one of my closest friends, he doesn't really know comic books a whole lot, but the one thing he does know is Walking Dead. So if we're
Right.
talking about comics, I'm the head guy. People kind of understand. Johnny probably knows more, but if we start talking about those comics, I don't know shit. I've
Yep,
only read
that's how it is.
one.
That's how it is with me at work. If it's me or it's this other dude at work, one of my other coworkers. Because when it comes to comic books and stuff, me and him, we could go back and forth and have a fucking debate on fucking comic books, you know. But other than that, if me and him are talking comics, everybody sits down, shuts the fuck up, and they learn something, you know. Because at the end of the
Y-
day, when it comes down to it, we know our shit. But when it comes to some anime, I sit down and I shut the fuck up because there's some anime, especially like a lot of modern anime, I don't know shit about. So I kind of fall back from some of that and I let everybody else talk and I let everybody else explain. You know what I mean? Like I at
Yeah,
least know my, huh?
I mean, yeah, I totally get it because but it's like I remember one time I told you this story before. I'll never get over it. I was walking through Walmart and there's these two girls talking. They're probably early 20s, and they're past these Funko Pops, and it's the gay Robin. And the one says, when this happened? And she goes, "Oh yeah, in the comics they made Dick Grayson gay," which
Uh,
which
Go
they
on.
made Tim Drake bisexual, which they shouldn't have done. We've discussed that before, but it's like this is who you're making these decisions for. People who read something in an article, put their little heart reactions, and then forget the details of the article. And it's like, man, you're doing this for the wrong reasons and for the wrong people. And it's not that we don't want this kind of representation. It's just we want the story to be first. And we
Thank you.
want
That's
there to be some common sense when you make these damn decisions.
exactly, that's the whole fucking point. And I don't see like why a lot of like, why it's like a lot of these modern day comic book creators don't understand that. That's what it's always been about at the end of the day. It's always been about storytelling. Storytelling. That's the only thing that fucking matters. If you can create a gay character if you want, but if the story's shitty, nobody's gonna fucking read it. It's what I've always said. You know, if the story is ass, no one cares. You know. And then speaking of like good writing, fuck it. Let's get into X-Men '97. Fuck it. Let's get into it, man. Do you want to get into it?
Yeah, let's. I mean, I will say that as much as I talk about, you know, diversity and whatnot, it's like when it comes to X-Men, they kind of don't do a great job of Hispanic representation. You've got Asian, you got white people from across the world, you got black people, African people, you have Native American people. You've got so much, but they really haven't been covering the Hispanic Latino thing. And now that they've introduced, because I think he's like
Brazilian.
Afro, yeah, because I
It's
think he's
supposed to be.
Afro Latin, right?
Yeah, he's supposed to be Afro Brazilian, and dude, bro, I'm sorry, like that even kind of pissed me off a little bit with Sunfire. That did piss. I mean, with Sunspot, that pissed me off. That kind of pissed me off a little bit. You
Okay,
know,
why? Because I like the fact that they brought him in like that because I'm like, it's some form of Hispanic representation, thereby evening the thing out. It's like it's the one thing, not Hispanic, but Latino, Latin, and
yeah.
it's like it helps even the situation out a little bit in my book because it's like it's what him and Reptile, and I can't think of a lot of other
I mean, they
on
did.
top of that.
They actually did. The chick with the fairy wings. That was the character that Zoe Kravitz played. Her character is actually Latina, but
Hmm.
sadly She got killed off in episode 5. along with the assload of different people. Man,
Oh,
fuck, dude. I hate what damn. I hate even bringing that episode up, dude.
oh, dude,
Uh,
I cried. I cried a little bit.
yeah, I did too.
Especially because it was like you could tell this is not a comic book death. This is more like how it is in anime. When the character's dead, they're really fucking dead.
Yeah, that was like one of those deaths that, like, dude, it yeah, it tugged on my heartstrings, man. Like, I was just like, don't cry, dude, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, and I was like, fuck. Seriously, like, I was trying everything I could not to fucking shed a tear, dude. Like, I was not expecting that, dude. That I was not expecting them to do that to Gambit.
And they were really doing the show was doing him so dirty too. He's losing his woman to this old fucker that's taking over the X-Men.
And
And like as I've seen where it's going now, I kind of see where like they wanted to take Rogue and kind of put her back because like I know in the comics because I back before the Dark Times I had the issue where she joined the X-Men and her outfit was very similar to that green outfit she was wearing, and so they're kind of
yep.
flipping things around where it's like they're sending her back to being evil like she was when she first went after what was Captain Marvel's other name? You know what I mean
Miss,
though.
yeah, no, I got you.
Like they're kind of sending it back to that, and so like when I saw why they were doing that in order to build up this big war and kind of putting some of the X-Men against some of the X-Men, I was like, I see why they're doing it now, but it's like they first start by like he gets his girl taken and then they fucking kill him. I'm like, dude, this is Gambit. You don't treat Gambit like this.
Yeah, even I was just kind of like, bruh, y'all doing Remy dirty, bruh. I can understand if you did Wolverine like this, but Remy of all people.
And I'm liking that Wolverine's not the over focus. Like he's there, he has his moments, but like to me, the movie's fucked up by there's only like 3 X-Men movies that are really X-Men movies. All the rest of them are Wolverine movies, in my opinion.
Yeah, because X2 didn't even feel like an X-Men movie. That felt like a Wolverine movie.
No, to me, to me, all 3 of them felt like Wolverine movies. It wasn't until you got to
Like
like
First Class and shit
Apocalypse and First Class, because even Days of Future Past, he's the
was
main freaking
Wolverine.
guy, and it's like it's and he's an awesome character. I agree, but at the same time, when we're talking X-Men, this is Cyclops' team, man.
Yeah, and I'm
Oh, and
actually glad they. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say the anime inspired fight scenes.
Yes, dude. Don't even get me started with those fight scenes, dude. Those fight numbers. That's probably some of the best fight numbers I have seen in a long time. Like the fact that they turned around and they turned Cyclops into a fucking badass, bro. Like, dude, this is like one of the very few shows that I can say like they did Cyclops justice. You
Yeah, me
know?
and my friend were talking about that too. Is like because he and I are kind of on the same page of like Cyclops has been getting shit on, especially like if you look back at X-Men and the um Wolverine and the X-Men.
Oh, he got
It's
shit
like,
on the worst in that one.
you know, they really just made him a crybaby and took his team from him, gave it to somebody else, and it's just like, dude, this kind of sucks. And on top of that, I'll never get over it. White Forge.
Oh man, dude.
Yeah, I'll never forgive them for White Forge.
Oh, dude. I wanted to throw something at a fucking wall, dude. Jesus, why you gotta bring up that? Like, I was trying to forget that, man. I was trying to forget about that version of Forge. It
I'll never
wasn't so much
forget.
that, I mean, and it's not so much that they like made him light skinned as fuck. It's the fact they made Forge like a bitch, dude. That was like the main thing I hated was the fact they made Forge act like a bitch the whole time, dude.
Yeah, they
And
just turned him into like a nerdy white guy, and I'm like, dude, this is not Forge.
no, because I'm
Forge
like,
is a
dude,
fucking leader.
yeah, I was like, dude, I remember fucking Forge being able to pull a fucking like freaking rifle out of his goddamn leg and fuck shit up. What the fuck is this? You know, like, dude, that was like, yeah, that was like a huge disappointment, dude. Huge letdown. I mean, but overall, I still like Wolverine and the X-Men. I just hated how they did Forge. You know?
I hated how they did a few different characters. Gambit, I think, was cool in the show.
Oh, I fucking loved how they did Gambit.
Yeah, they did, especially when he blew up a whole car.
Yeah, and then I like the part where it's like when Wolverine was talking about how he was looking for some mutant chick, and he's like, "Hold on, give me a sec, let me see." I didn't see her, but I think she left a card. Maybe it was this card. He has a fucking kinetically charged card, and he tosses it out. Wolverine. I was like, "Wait, what the fuck?" Oh man, it's just how he fucking did it, you know? Yeah, I like Gambit. Yeah, I like. I mean, then even just that show, it's a damn shame it never got a season 2, man. It got canceled after season 1 because, like, dude, they were setting up for fucking Age of Apocalypse, and I was like, I was in for it. And then from what I heard, like, Deadpool was supposed to be in the second season of Wolverine and the X-Men
Deadpool
because,
was what was Deadpool in? Because he was in one of the shows, I thought.
he was in a Spider-Man cartoon, Ultimate Spider-Man.
He
Yeah,
was
he was
in
an.
the. Oh, you know what? I think I'm thinking of Hulk versus Wolverine.
Yeah, it's in the same universe as Wolverine and the X-Men. And the other show that's also tied to that universe is Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Which what a good cartoon that was.
Dude, that cartoon was like on a whole different level, man. That was like one of those cartoons that like they could have did another season instead of doing that fucking Avengers Assemble. Cause I'm not gonna lie, Avengers Assemble it was hit or miss. It
Yeah, it
was
was a
hitting.
big ball of okay.
Yeah, because there was some episodes that were good, and then some episodes that were just straight up ass. You know, just straight up. I'm just being honest. There were some episodes that were good, and then some episodes that were just ass crack.
I recently rewatched that Fantastic Four cartoon that came out in like the early 2000s that looked really, really great, but the story was
It was
just too
ass.
bland.
Yep, I know which
Yeah.
one you're talking about.
And it looked beautiful, but like the story just was all too bland. They weren't doing enough. And the only episode I really enjoyed was the She-Hulk episode, but I'm
Yeah, that
also
was the
very biased.
yeah. And then a fun fact: the photographer that was in that episode, you know who that was, right?
Nuh-uh.
That was Peter Parker.
Ah.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people don't know. Remember, dude, I looked into a lot of this shit. Like, here's one where, like, okay, get this, man. You might want to sit down for this one. So, when we were in my Facebook group, we were talking about in the Facebook group, they were talking about how because of the fact Morph turned into Hulk. Spoiler for people that didn't watch episode 9. So when Morph turned into Hulk, right? Everybody had this stupid fucking theory that the Hulk cartoon links into the Hulk cartoon and the X-Men cartoon and all the Marvel cartoons from the 90s are all connected, which they're not. They're
They,
really not.
problem is that they both are and aren't because all right,
I, I'll,
let's
I'll,
start with let's start
I'll
with Iron
explain.
Man, all right? Because like that War Machine is in one of the Spider-Mans. There's
Yeah,
a
I'm good.
Hulk
That's what I
crossover
was gonna.
episode.
Yeah, I was gonna
Uh
explain that one. Yeah, I know which cartoons link into which ones. I already looked it up. I can already
and
tell you which ones are which. So the Wolverine, the X-Men cartoon and the Spider-Man cartoon, the one from the 90s, those two cartoons are in the same universe. Those are in the same universe. And then the Fantastic Four, Iron Man, and the Hulk cartoon, Those three cartoons are in its own continuity. Like they're all in this. Those three are in the same universe. They're in the same shared universe. They're not in the same universe with Spider-Man
But
and the
shouldn't
X-Men.
Silver Surfer be in that universe then as well?
Silver Surfer is its own continuity. Because if you watch the Silver Surfer cartoon, they do not even reference because they do Silver Surfer's origin all the way to the part when they go to Earth and Galactus recruits Nova. Here's the thing: Fantastic Four are nowhere to be seen. They are not even referenced, not even mentioned. But
see,
they
then
still
the
somehow
Fantastic
show.
Four are still in Spider-Man though.
Yeah, because you got to also remember multiverse. They're going to have a version of the Fantastic Four in the Spider-Man universe, and then there's going to be a separate version of the Fantastic Four in their universe. Because think about it for 1 second. Why is it that on an episode of Fantastic Four, Scarlet Spider has a small cameo? Not Spider-Man, Scarlet Spider. Scarlet Spider doesn't exist in Spider-Man's universe. Only in an alternate universe, but not in the main universe of Spider-Man. That enough right there, that alone is enough to confirm that it's its own universe.
Well, see, to me, I think you're over missing the most obvious one, which is Scarlet Witch. If you compare
Oh shit,
Iron
dude! Don't
Man
even.
Scarlet Witch to, because what's funny is Iron Man Scarlet Witch is actually way more similar to the MCU Scarlet Witch
Yep.
than most people would think.
Yep.
Versus the other one is more familiar with the X-Men one that we know that they've basically done away with.
Yep.
Which is bullshit. Yep. Oh, I will say, because Magneto, all right, as I told you early on, I wasn't really digging X-Men quite as well. I think Captain America coming back out of nowhere to me felt a little random because if that is connected to the Spider-Man universe, he should be trapped in time. And they kind of just don't explain that somewhere along the lines he got out.
Oh, he probably got out because of the Secret Wars.
Maybe.
Yeah, that would make sense because remember, Spider-Man recruited everybody for a bunch of people for Secret Wars, and Captain America was one of them. That's the only logical explanation I can see how Captain America is there because of the whole Secret Wars. Spider-Man must have got him out of that part where he was trapped in time. That's the only logical answer that makes sense. But that is a good point. That is a good point that they kind of gloss over a little bit. I will agree with that. Good point.
And
I never thought about that.
That was the first thing I thought about. I was like, motherfucker, you're supposed to be trapped in time. What are you doing here?
Yeah, now I have to go back and watch that episode of Spider-Man again. Now I really have to go back and watch it. Because you are right. I think he did. Yeah, he did get trapped. Yeah, I got to go back and watch Spider-Man again. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good point. Very, very good point.
Well, yeah, at first I wasn't sure, I guess because I didn't know where they were going with it. And then also I had done this thing where I was listening to this unofficial podcast where basically they were condensing a bunch of X-Men storylines over the year and just doing like reading reenactments of it.
Yeah.
So a lot of the points that they were going over, I had just heard in this podcast, and I was just like, it's more of the same, which is, a not fair way to judge it. But as it started to do its own thing and go its own direction and then kind of branch out in different directions where you're like, okay, so who's playing who and who's the bad guy here? And who am I supposed to be rooting for? Because when Magneto came back in classic costume, I hated that gay costume because of the arm things.
Oh my god, dude, we're not going to talk about that. I don't want to talk about that fucking suit.
Arm length gloves is a woman's trait. That made that whole costume look gay. You get rid of that, you give him some gauntlets instead, and that's a decent enough outfit.
Blame the 90s, bro. That's all I'm going to say. Blame the 90s and their fucking comic book designs.
And
because it's bad enough that in the 90s they did that shit with Thor. You know how they had shoulder pads were a big thing? And then in the middle, and then Thor has a fucking open midriff in his fucking uniform. Yeah, that outfit was fucking atrocious, bro. That was like the worst. That was like one of the worst fucking that was like one of the worst suits I've ever seen Thor in, bro. And it's one of those things. It never gets referenced. It never gets talked about. But it was that bad. It was bad. But yeah, that's when they were trying to do a bunch of crazy experimental shit with comic books in the 90s, you know?
Which, I mean, some of that experimental shit works because, like, I think people tend to forget that 2099 was a whole thing that Spider-Man wasn't supposed to be the face of it, really. He was just one of many. And as it turns out, he just happened to be the most popular one.
Yeah, because even I was buying Spider-Man 2099 when it was out. Like, what?
Oh, dude,
Like,
I
I
loved it.
was,
Like, that was some of my earliest comic books. That was like, because I mean, it was Spider-Man with a fucking skull. Like, what more do you want?
oh yeah, Spider-Man, dude, Spider-Man 2099 is shit. But yeah, but but let's talk about that shit that happened at the end of that episode. Like, yeah, you're all the way caught up, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm guessing you're talking about the adamantium.
Yeah, I don't know what was crazier, the fact that they actually went through with that, or the fact that they literally took that part line for line from the comic book. I don't know which part is a shocker. I'm gonna be honest, dude. I did not see that shit coming. 100% honest. I did not see that shit coming.
See, unfortunately, I did because I forgot that it was airing that day and that I needed to stay offline. So, goddamn comicbook.com articles spoiled it.
Yeah. Oh, but I'm just saying, like, when you're watching it, you don't see that shit coming. In fact, I didn't see it. I didn't really figure it was gonna happen until Magneto turned around and he put the thing over like Xavier's head, and then Wolverine came and stabbed him from behind. I'm like, oh fuck! I already know what's gonna fucking happen. The minute Wolverine stabbed him in the back, I knew what the fuck was gonna happen. I just didn't think they were gonna make it look exactly like the fucking comic book panel. That's the part that fucked me up. But yeah, we all know what's gonna happen. We already know what's gonna happen season 2. We already know what's coming season 2.
Yeah, they're putting a lot of faith in season 2 for them to have written the story the way that they're writing it. They're putting a lot of faith in their writing, and it's like, well, shit. I think you had a right to.
Yeah, because I mean, let's be honest. I'm telling you right now, if they do go with the Onslaught storyline, bro, just cancel Christmas. Cancel Christmas. Give Bo DeMille his fucking job back. Give that motherfucker his job back. Because I'm telling you right now, that dude is he was given the assignment and he understood the assignment and he overachieved. I'm gonna be honest, like that dude overachieved. I was not a lot of the moves he made were risky, but it worked. You know? I will say a lot. Oh, sorry, I got my dog trying to wrestle my fucking hand right now. Little bastard. Ah. Sorry, he's a strong little kid. A strong little one.
Yeah, I
But
just got through walking mine.
oh wow.
But yeah, dude. I mean, even when I was still meh about it, there was never a point where I wanted to walk away. And
Yeah.
And I've almost stopped shitting on the art style so much, even though I still would have liked it to be closer to the original. I'm like, the way they drew the action sequences, the so obvious Japanese influences throughout. I'm like, dude, this is how you fucking progress. When you see somebody doing something better than you, you take that and integrate it. And it's just like that's what the Japanese did with My Hero, and that's what we're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how art keeps from getting stale.
Yep. I agree, man. Like, because let's be honest, if they try to go back to the original artwork, a lot of those action sequences would not work. I'm gonna be honest.
It would be too much. It would be too much to try and do that.
It would be too clunky too. A lot of those action scenes would be super clunky. And I think that's also why a lot of those characters seemed underpowered too. Because of the animations, the old animation style being too clunky, you know?
I mean, think about the cartoon Gargoyles, dude. In terms of writing, some of the best writing there is, but those fighting scenes were the super advanced for that time. But when we watch it,
Yeah.
they're just lunging at each other.
Yep.
That's what most of those fight sequences are. Is it's just Goliath lunging at a guy. And at
Yeah.
the time, it was the most incredible shit. But now it's like, dude, this is kind of lame. And it's the cartoon is still great, but the fight scenes don't hold up.
Yeah. Same with like the old
And
Spider-Man cartoon. Like I hate, like, don't get me wrong, I love this old Spider-Man cartoon. I love the writing from the '90s, but a lot of the action sequences were really underwhelming. Like, really go back and watch it and notice that Spider-Man never throws a punch at any of the bad guys. I just want you to just remember that. No bad guy ever throws a punch at one another. Just keep that in mind. And it had something to do with Fox, if I'm not mistaken. I forgot the reason why. It was a whole thing with Fox not wanting Spider-Man to punch anybody or some crap like that. It was some weird shit.
yeah, they had a lot of dumb cartoon violence rules back at the time. And like,
Yeah.
I know one of them is like, because there's that one Batman episode where he's going up against robots and he kills them in like any way they can. And they're like, yeah, the rules for hurting people versus killing robots are completely different, which I
Right.
think is probably one of the reasons that going back to Gargoyles, they had the Steel Clan
Yep.
because you could just destroy those robots all kinds of crazy ways and it's fine.
Yep. And you know what? It makes a lot of sense. I hate to say it. It makes
And
sense.
just like the practice robots that they would always fight in Justice League, and the putties were never actually real people, and they were made of clay. So if you kill 10 of them, it doesn't really matter.
Yep. Yeah, it's insane, man. It's really, 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 really insane.
And it's great how far along we've come. Because if you watch some of the you know cartoons for kids now, and you look at some of those fight sequences, it's like, dude, this is pretty fucking awesome.
Right. It's fucking insane, man. Yeah, it's just crazy how, like, yeah, it is just crazy how it's come a long way, man. It's crazy. It's insane. But who would have thought we would have gotten to that point? You know?
Dude, I was just thinking about this the other day. Like, you and I grew up at the right time because I remember as a kid loving cartoons. All I wanted to do was watch cartoons, and everybody would say, "Oh, you'll grow out of it. You'll grow out of it." And the thing is, they probably would have been right if two things hadn't happened. One was that Marvel movies and everything were getting bigger. MCU wasn't quite a thing, but this was during the era of like Blade, Spider-Man, Daredevil. So like all these movies were coming out that like adults liked as well. So you didn't have to necessarily stop liking superhero stuff because now there's an adult version of it. And when it
Right.
came to cartoons, okay, watching Speedy Gonzalez outsmart a cat, like that gets old once you're about 12, 13. But
Right.
then you got Dragon Ball Z. But then you got Yu Yu Hakusho. And then you get fucking Trigun, and you get all this stuff dealing with
Yep.
like it's crazy violence, it's awesome action, and then they start dealing with some really heavy adult themes.
Yep.
Trigun dealt with some pretty heavy adult stuff.
And some pretty fucked
And
shit too.
yeah, and so it's like it's when your adolescent brain is looking for the thing that makes you feel adult, and you're getting that still out of your cartoons. It's like you don't have to grow up, man. The
Yeah.
cartoons just grew up with you.
Yeah. Crazy.
And I will say too, also Justice League, because like I recently talked my friend into watching. I talked him into watching two cartoons kind of recently because I'll trade him when he wants me to watch some shit that I don't want to watch. I'll be like, so he wanted me to watch Moral Oral. And I'd seen one or two episodes and I didn't really get it. He's like, no, Johnny, you need to see the whole thing, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, look, I'll watch Moral Oral, at least start Justice League.
Man, Moral
And
World was a fucked up show, by the way. I had to say it would go on, man.
yeah, and like, because like I said, I only seen one or two episodes and it seemed dumb, but when you watch it, you're like, oof, they're doing a lot of shit here. And
Yeah, that
he really wanted me to watch what was that movie, Scarface, because he's Mexican. You know how Mexicans are about Scarface, even though it's about fucking Cubans. And
man, everybody likes Scarface.
and he's going on and on. I'm like, and I didn't really want to watch it because I had started watching it with a couple friends of mine, and I just couldn't get into it. And I think probably because they were talking all the lines over it, and he's like, "Fuck, no, do it, do it." I was like, "I'll tell you what, I'll watch the movie. You give me 3 episodes of Avatar, Last Airbender." He goes, "All
Oh
right,
wow,
deal." After 3 episodes, he watched the entire series and Korra.
god damn.
And so it's like sometimes you got to fucking hook them in to let them know, this is good, this is better than you think it is. Because like when it comes to Justice League, he wasn't really digging it until it like kind of got into Justice League Unlimited. And he started to see
Yep.
the way everything was connected, and it's like, yeah, all that shit you thought was insignificant, it comes back and it gets bigger and it gets awesome.
Yeah, dude, I got my girl into watching the Justice League cartoon. Like, because I said, look, at some point you're gonna have to watch Justice League. And one day, like, I was going on Netflix and I see that somebody had watched Justice League, and I hadn't been on Netflix in like a few days. I'm like, babe, were you watching Justice League? She's like, yeah, I actually liked it. It was pretty good. I'm like, fucking told you Justice League was good, but no, you didn't want to listen. You know?
I'm looking forward to his new Bruce Timm's new Batman that he's coming out with.
Oh, the one that's gonna be on Amazon.
Is it on Amazon? But yeah,
Yeah,
no, yeah,
Batman the Cape Crusader, right?
yes.
Yeah, it's gonna be on Amazon.
Yeah, there's all these losers. Oh, he'll never be as good as Kevin and blah blah blah. And I'm like, yes, but when were you saying this about any of the Batman cartoons that came out up until now? Because
Right. And
y'all weren't saying that about the Batman. Y'all weren't saying that about Batman Brave and the Bold. What was
right.
what was that 3D animated one called?
Beware the Batman, which by the way, that one was fucking trash. And it wasn't
I
because of the
enjoyed it.
voice act. I like the only episodes I liked were like the last 3 episodes. That was it. Other than that, Beware the Batman, it just didn't sit. I don't know, it just didn't do it for me.
See, I think, but I also like I had already heard all the hate on it for a long time, and
Yeah.
so it was just like, as a for instance, when you watch, or I'll speak for myself. When I watched Dragon Ball GT the first time, I was kind of disappointed. I was like, well, this isn't what I fucking expected. I built it up to
Right.
be big and incredible in my brain, and you went smaller and sillier. Like I don't get that, but then I can go back and watch it now and enjoy it because I know what it's going to be. I know it's short, I know it's sweet, I know what it is, and so I can
Right.
just enjoy it for what it is.
Right.
And I
Oh, on
think
top.
it's kind of this. I think it's kind of the same thing. I just enjoy it for what it was.
Yeah. Oh, let me throw an unpopular opinion real quick. Dragon Ball GT is better than Dragon Ball Super because Dragon Ball Super is nothing but fucking plot armor. I said it. I fucking said it. Y'all want to fight me about it? Fight me. I said
Eh,
it.
the thing is, I'm not. As long as you're not hating on it, like necessarily, I'm like, I don't care. I don't care which one you like better. I like them both. I like Super better just because it's more. Like I wanted
Yeah.
Super to keep going just because like I enjoy the shit. Like I don't see why they have like one on YouTube now that I don't know if it's is the one on YouTube in English or do you only have to read the subs?
Is it Super Dragon Ball Heroes?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's only in Japanese. That one ties into a like a card game, like an arcade card game.
Mm.
Yeah, that's why they have that. That links into a card game in Japan.
Yeah,
So
seeing like even that,
that
like
was,
I'll watch that, but I just
yeah,
me, I'd rather it be in English. Like I don't want to I have a bad attention span, so it's like if I'm not I'll miss like 4 lines and then have to keep going back and or that or like I'll stay with the dialogue really good, but then I'm missing all the action. It's like, dude, I just want to watch my cartoon.
that's my girlfriend. She's the same way too. Like when it comes to anime, she doesn't like to read subtitles. It's like she'd rather it be in English because her attention span's too low, so she would rather just watch it instead of just having to read subtitles. But I will say this for me, this is just me personally. I prefer to watch. I like Dragon. I don't mind watching Dragon Ball either in English or Japanese. It does not matter for me because at the end of the day, I like both. But again, that's everybody's different. Yeah, and I was gonna say for anybody that's saying that, if anybody on here tries to say that I'm saying that I hate Dragon Ball Super, no, that's not even what I said. Only thing I said was Dragon Ball GT is better than Super. That's all I said. Never said I hated Dragon. Yeah, I'm just saying that's why anybody gets in my comment section and says some stupid crap, they might want to go back and reread and go back and re-listen.
Yeah, because like if they came out with, if they continued it, if Dragon Ball Super went on to the next part of the comic books storyline, which I fucking wish it would, and because like the
Yeah,
show basically stretched out the movies, right? But they only stretched out two of the movies, and there's four movies. I'm like,
yeah.
stretch it out more, give us more. Like, how are you not making enough money off of Dragon Ball Z to justify this purchase?
And I think part of it is because with Akira Toriyama, he was like really like invested in it. Like with every single detail going on at Akira Toriyama, not only had he have a say, but he was heavily involved in it. Like that's one of the things with Dragon Ball and why it took so long for some stuff to come out with Dragon Ball, is because that was like Akira Toriyama's pride and joy. So you already know he's going to be heavily involved in it.
And then I gotta imagine his relationship with American fans didn't make things better. Like, the whole Mr. Popo thing, people trying to come after him, getting mad at him because Mr. Popo's racist and blah blah blah. And he's just like, and I remember reading the interview when they're talking about black representation. He's like, they're not from here. This is our cartoon. They're not from here. And
Right,
it's and he's like, why should I be representing people that? And which, first of all, he has black characters, and there are probably more black characters than he's ever met in his life in
yeah,
real life.
and for the record, Mr. Popo is not black. I don't know why motherfucker. It's like it. Yeah, I had to freaking put that out there because you remember when I put that. I had to put that out there. That
Oh
message.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Just for people that don't know, Mr. Popo is not black. He's actually supposed to be the incarnation. He's supposed to be a representation of the Indian god of time, the Mahakal. I think that's what it was called, and it's a
Hmm.
representation of the Indian god of time. Think about it. Think about it, what is the one room Mr. Popo guards?
The
The
hyperbolic time
hyperbolic
chamber.
time chamber. Exactly. Why is he able to go in and out of the hyperbolic time chamber aimlessly without it affecting him? Guardian of time. Motherfucker gotta think a little bit on that.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it's
and
just like it is people. We have a weird thing where people just want to be offended. They want to look for stuff to be offended by, and it's like, dude,
yep,
just wait. Offensive shit happens all the time. People
yep,
say messed up things all the time. Just wait.
yep.
It'll come your way. You don't gotta search it out. You don't gotta turn over stones trying to play the damn victim. And I don't like that either, man. Everybody wants to play the victim these days. It's like, dude, toughen up a little bit.
Yeah,
Life's
I've
rough.
already said,
Bad shit happens. You crying about it is not gonna help you.
yeah,
People online telling you, "Oh, poor baby, we feel for you," isn't gonna help you. The only thing that's gonna help you is you get up and you deal with it.
like I said, man, everybody wants to be a professional fucking victim. I've already said it once, I'm gonna say it again. Everybody wants to be a professional fucking victim. Like,
Hmm.
it's fucking sad.
Yeah, dude,
It,
there are some things that have happened in my life that I look at and it's like I could choose to like portray it in a "oh woe is me" kind of way, but I instead choose to portray it in a like "look what I did in spite of it" kind of way.
yep,
And to me, there's more pride in that. Like I had to. I may have told you this story before, but I've had to the last three Harry Potter books. I had to work to earn that money. Nobody was going to buy me a $30 hardcover book. That was not going to happen. My mom
Yeah.
bought me 2 and 3 because they were like $7 and $8 on paperback at the fair, the book fair, and number 4 hadn't been released in paperback yet, so I was stuck. I couldn't go no further, and thank God one of my friends whose parents had money, he had the book. He's like, "I'll loan it to you, no problem, dude. Just Christmas vacation's coming up. Here you go." And so I was able to read number 4. When number
Yeah.
5 came out, I had to go do work for my grandfather. I was I was making $5 an hour, and I worked 7 hours at doing helping him to fix up an apartment, do the painting and everything, cleaning out the pool, and just stuff around the apartments he did maintenance at. They paid me $5 an hour for 7 hours of work.
All
That
right.
bought me my book. I went and did yard work for my brother's grandfather,
Yeah.
my half brother's grandfather, and that bought me the 6th book. And by the 7th book, I was already living on my own, 18 years old, and paying my bills, and I had enough money to go buy me the book, and I could do a sob story about how we were so broke and how I got kicked out in the home and all this other stuff. But it's like, dude, I'm proud of the fact that I wanted it and I got it.
Right.
That we didn't have the money and it didn't matter. I said, I'm going to get the money. And people looked at me like I was crazy when I bought a fucking book. They're like, "A book? You want a book? Is this like, you don't want toys? You don't want this? You don't want that?" I'm like, "I want this fucking book." And people wonder why I'm not going to turn against JK over a few statements. Like, no, it's going to take way more than that, partner. She was a
Uh,
big part of my growing up, and it's going to take way more than that.
yeah. Like honestly, I even then, like I hate to fucking say it, like even I think like the whole J.K. Rowling hate shit, it's ridiculous at this point. It's very ridiculous.
Yeah,
Like
dude.
motherfucker need to
And you
like
see it in
everybody.
you see it in the people who defend her, because like all the actors who are the adults in the movies, the older
Uh,
ones, they all defend her. All the actors that were children in the movies, they're the ones who have something to say. And
and you
so
want
it's
to know
like there's
why? Do you know why? Because
social
they're
media.
afraid of losing. Yeah, they're afraid of losing their fan base. They're afraid of losing their fan base. They're afraid of losing money over that shit. That's the only reason why they're turning on J.K. Rowling. That's the only fucking reason. And what's funny is people are too fucking stupid to see through that shit. Like,
And
come on,
the
man.
funny
It's
thing
it,
is too, they keep trying to call her canceled. Like, oh, she's been canceled. I'm like, no, y'all online trash her, but that doesn't make her canceled because her last few books were all #1 bestsellers.
yeah.
So it's like, how canceled are you when your book goes to #1 the day it's dropped?
Oh,
And and yeah, it's not making Harry Potter numbers, but what makes Harry Potter numbers?
exactly. I feel you, man. Ah, shit. How long was it on the show? Oh, goddamn, dude. 3 minutes. Shit. Yeah.
Eh,
Yeah, I'll probably go ahead and end it now because I actually really just wanted to do it for like an hour, man.
right, just talking about X-Men and oh
Yeah,
man, one more episode, dude.
yeah,
And and then it's like, what the fuck? And then we got weeks and weeks before we got to wait for what, the new Star Wars thing. As
I'm debating if I'm even gonna watch that.
what's the next one supposed to be out?
I don't even fucking remember. I have to
Because I
look
know
into it.
they're talking about Skeleton Crew. I think Acolyte is the next one.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah, which that's one of those, they've been leading with the wrong foot kind of thing. It's so super diverse. Okay, is the story good?
Worry about
It's
that, man.
it's like Star Wars has actually always been pretty diverse, all things
Yeah,
considered.
yeah, but nobody want to talk about that. You already know nobody's gonna be on that shit.
Fucking
Yeah.
shout out to Billy D. Williams.
Oh yeah. Definitely shout out to him. That dude is a real one. But yeah, but that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and head out because yeah, if one I'm been on for an hour, two, I'm fixing to eat something, man.
Yeah, same here. Right on, man.
Uh, all right, man. So the next one, man. I'll hit you up next week and see if I'm gonna do a show then, man.
Sounds good.
I bet. So then, thanks everybody for watching. And with that being said, this is your boy Darkstar. I'm out. Peace. Thanks, Johnny, for showing up, man. And yeah, do it again next week, man.
Later.
Later.